There are concerns the Harper government could begin taking an especially hard line on groups which encourage boycotts of Israel, perhaps even legal action. The move would target organizations from the United Church of Canada to campus protest groups to labor unions. Senior Washington correspondent Neil MacDonald has been working on this story. Neil.
Well, Wendy, this story began because we started picking up concern from Canadian groups involved in the worldwide boycotts of Israel and of Israel's settlements in the territory it occupies. In January, Canada's then Foreign Minister, John Baird, signed an agreement in Jerusalem pledging to help Israel fight those boycotts. The agreement called the boycotts the new face of anti-Semitism. Then, a few days later, Stephen Harper's minister in charge of law enforcement took an even harsher line at the UN. He lumped boycotts of Israel in with hatred of all Jews and even terror. And then he said this.
Canada has a zero-tolerance approach to anti-Semitism and all forms of discrimination, including in rhetoric towards Israel. This is because that those who threaten the existence of the Jewish people are a grave threat to us all.
Well, zero tolerance means you won't tolerate something, period. That made groups like the United Church of Canada and the Canadian Quakers and the various unions that have supported these boycotts nervous. Remember, you're talking about a government that's constantly talking about being tougher on terror. The Quakers wrote the government protesting the language, but all they got was more of the same language in reply. So we asked the Public Safety Minister's office last week 4 questions. What does zero tolerance mean? How does it translate into government action? Does the memorandum signed in Israel have any force in Canadian law? And what are the police and intelligence agencies doing about these boycotts that Blaney says the government will not tolerate? The reply didn't come for days, but when it did, the government pointed directly to Canadian laws criminalizing expression. One of Blaney's spokespeople pointed us to several criminal code provisions on hate crimes, promoting or inciting hatred or genocide against a group based on its national origin, presumably in this case, Israeli. The reply ended with a declaration that we will not allow hate crimes to undermine our way of life, which is based on diversity and inclusion. Today, though, the government seemed to be mocking its own reply, calling the report on CBC's website everything from ridiculous to a conspiracy theory. But of course, the message has been delivered. And believe me, Wendy, the groups involved in the boycotts heard it.
Thanks so much, Neil. Neil MacDonald.